The love stories you grew up watching? They taught you to accept abuse. And you never even noticed. Disney didn't just sell you fairy tales. They sold you a blueprint for toxic relationships. And here's the twisted part. You internalized every red flag as romance. Every controlling behavior as passion. Every boundary violation as proof of love. Because when you're 5 years old, watching a princess fall in love, you don't question it. You absorb it. And decades later, you're in relationships that mirror those same patterns, wondering why love always feels like this. Today, I'm breaking down 7 Disney movies that normalized toxic relationships. And the last one? It's the blueprint for emotional abuse that millions call romance. Let's start with the most obvious one, the movie that romanticized Stockholm Syndrome. Beauty and the Beast. Here's what actually happens in this story. A man kidnaps a woman, holds her prisoner, screams at her, destroys things in rage, and then she falls in love with him. Not because he changes fundamentally, but because he shows her moments of kindness between the abuse. This is the textbook cycle of abuse. Your partner explodes, terrifies you, makes you feel small and trapped. Then they buy you flowers, take you to dinner, show you the good side you fell in love with. And you think, see, this is who they really are. I just need to love them enough. This is called intermittent reinforcement. When someone alternates between abuse and affection, your brain becomes addicted to the moments of kindness. You start believing you can fix them, that your love will transform them, just like Belle transformed the Beast. But here's what Disney doesn't show you. In real life, the Beast doesn't become a prince. He just learns which mask to wear to keep you trapped. And speaking of masks, the second movie is even more insidious. This one taught you to destroy yourself for love. The Little Mermaid. Ariel gives up everything for a man she's never spoken to. Her voice, her family, her entire identity, her home. She literally makes herself voiceless to be with him. And this is sold to you as the ultimate romantic sacrifice. How many times have you shrunk yourself to make someone love you? Stop talking about your dreams because they found them boring. Cut off friends because your partner was uncomfortable with them. Changed everything you are, hoping they'd finally choose you. This is self-abandonment disguised as devotion. Disney taught you that if you just sacrifice enough, change enough, give up enough, you'll earn love. But real love doesn't require you to disappear. And yet millions of people are currently drowning because they traded their voice for someone's attention. But the third movie, it normalized something even darker. This movie literally romanticized assault and called it True Love's Kiss. A prince kisses an unconscious woman. She didn't consent. She couldn't consent. She was asleep. But it's framed as heroic, as destiny, as romance. This teaches something deeply dangerous. That your no doesn't matter if someone believes they're your true love. That consent is optional if the intention is pure. That someone can violate your boundaries, and it's romantic if they frame it right. This is the foundation of rape culture. The idea that desire justifies action. That love overrides consent. That your bodily autonomy is less important than someone else's romantic narrative. And here's the sickest part. Generations of people learned that being wanted matters more than being respected. But the fourth movie took it further. This one taught you that lying is fine, as long as you're charming. Aladdin. Aladdin builds an entire relationship on a lie. He pretends to be someone else, creates a false identity, manipulates Jasmine into falling in love with a person who doesn't exist. And when the truth comes out, she forgives him because he's a good person deep down. Sound familiar? The person who lied about their job, their past, their intentions. But when you caught them, they said, "I only lied because I was afraid of losing you." And somehow, you became the bad guy for being upset about the deception. This is gaslighting through romanticization. Disney taught you that if someone's intentions were good, the lying doesn't count. That deception is forgivable if the person is likable enough. But trust built on lies isn't trust. It's a trap. And the thing about traps, you don't see them until you're already caught. Which brings us to the fifth movie. This one is the perfect manual for emotional abuse. And it's disguised as a villain origin story. Mother Gothel doesn't hit Rapunzel. She doesn't scream. She's not obviously abusive. Instead, she uses guilt, isolation, gaslighting. She convinces Rapunzel that the outside world is dangerous, that she's weak, naive, incapable, that leaving equals betrayal. This is covert abuse. The partner who says, "I'm only worried about you. I just don't want you to get hurt. Why would you need other friends when you have me?" They frame control as protection, isolation as love. And you believe them because they never raise their voice. This is how narcissistic abuse works. There's no physical violence to point to, no dramatic blow-ups, just a slow, quiet erosion of your autonomy until you can't remember who you were before then. And the scariest part? You won't realize you're trapped until you try to leave and discover you don't know how. But the sixth movie normalized something society still refuses to call abuse. This one showed you a perfect predator and then made him the villain, only after the damage was done. Hans is charming, attentive, says all the right things. He love bombs Anna, proposes immediately, plays the perfect prince. And then, when she's completely vulnerable, he reveals it was manipulation all along. This is every person who seemed perfect at first. They mirrored your interests, rushed intimacy, made you feel like you'd found your soulmate in 3 days. And by the time you realized something was wrong, you'd already introduced them to your family, given them access to your life, trusted them with your heart. This is what psychologists call fast forward. Predators create artificial intimacy quickly, because the faster you bond, the harder it is to leave when the mask slips. They manufacture destiny, so you'll ignore red flags. And Disney showed you this, but only condemned it when he dropped the act, not when he was actively doing it. So you learn to spot villains who admit they're villains. But the ones who never drop the mask, they're still in your life. And the seventh movie? It's the one that taught you to call abuse passion. The last one didn't just normalize toxicity. It romanticized colonization as love. Pocahontas. A man invades your home. His people want to destroy everything you have. He represents an existential threat to your entire way of life. But he's attractive and curious about you. So you're supposed to fall in love with him, bridge the gap, save him from himself. This is the relationship where someone fundamentally disrespects everything you are. Your culture, your boundaries, your values, your safety. But they show you moments of curiosity, attraction, connection. And you convince yourself, if I just love them enough, I can change them. I can make them see. I can be the bridge. This is the savior complex, weaponized. Disney taught you that your love can redeem someone who's actively harming you. That understanding your oppressor is noble. That sacrificing your safety for their growth is romantic. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You cannot love someone into respecting you. You cannot fix someone who sees you as less than human. You cannot bridge a gap when the other person is standing on your neck. And the cruelest part? The movie ends with them apart. Because even Disney knew, this kind of love only exists in fantasy. In real life, it just destroys you. 7 Disney movies. 7 toxic blueprints you absorbed before you were old enough to question them. Beauty and the Beast taught you to love your captor. The Little Mermaid taught you to erase yourself. Sleeping Beauty taught you consent is optional. Aladdin taught you deception is romantic. Tangled taught you control is protection. Frozen taught you to ignore red flags during love bombing. And Pocahontas taught you to sacrifice yourself for someone who will never see you as equal. These aren't just movies. They're the reason you stay when you should leave. The reason you think jealousy means passion. The reason you call controlling behavior caring. Because when you're young, you don't analyze fairy tales. You internalize them. And now you're an adult, wondering why every relationship feels like this. Here's what Disney never taught you. Real love doesn't require you to shrink. Real love doesn't violate your boundaries and call it romance. Real love doesn't need to trap you to keep you. And if the love you're experiencing looks like these movies, it's not love. It's just another fairy tale. And fairy tales, they're not real. But the damage they cause, that's very, very real. The question is, how many more years will you waste trying to live inside a story that was designed to keep you small? Trying to live inside a story that was designed to keep you small. Which Disney movie messed you up the most? Drop it in the comments.